Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is February the 27th, 2018. Strong hand, long-term thinking. There's a lot to talk about in this video today. Check out the link section below. Everything I talk about is linked to below. Get your Trezor, Ledger Nano, Crypto HW wallet, which is linked to below. I've got all sorts of discount codes for t-shirts, all sorts. Just check out the links below. All right, let's start on a positive note here. Tour de Meester has a tweet out there. It talks about the year 2020. I talk about that year a lot. Extrapolating from a Dutch survey, I'd say Bitcoin adoption in the US is at around 2% of the households. Same as internet adoption in 1993. In other words, 2020 could become a tipping point. Bitcoin equivalent of a Windows 1995 moment, or I guess Windows 95 moment. Yes, if you extrapolate that number, if the 2% number is true, and you look at his graph, check out his tweet linked to below. Yeah, it does look like 2020 could be a big year. Isn't that coincidental? That's the year of the Bitcoin halving. It could just all come together then. Maybe it won't all come together then. Maybe it won't be until 2024. The point is to have a strong hand, that it's going to be tremendous. Just like the internet was small back in 1995 or 1996, we knew it would be huge, or people knew it would be huge. And now look at it. The internet dominates the world. The internet is the world. So these things can grow very fast and make people very wealthy and change the whole world so fast if you're involved early. It's still early. All right, people. So first of all, remember to subscribe to this channel and pound that like button. You can do that now. It'll take a moment for you to do that. All right, so back to the show. It's a debacle over at Bittrex in terms of Bprivate. I mean, I can't really sugarcoat this and twist it around and make it seem like it's a hack. There are opportunities. There are opportunities there, like future crypto dividends, like Monero V. They need to learn a lesson from this, that you need to have a legitimate exchange able to split your root coin into your crypto dividend. I mean, before you even make major announcements about dates and everything. Just have everything lined up. So, I mean, people depend on this type of thing. Now, should they be depending on exchanges? No, they shouldn't be. But that's just the way it is. And you don't end up in a situation where people are just wondering and where there is no clarity on what is really going on. And the snapshot is approaching and no one seems to know what's going on. No one is answering questions at the exchange. No one's answering questions at the crypto dividend. Now, with this specific situation, Z Classic forming the Bprivate crypto dividend, if you want to store your Z Classic somewhere else, if you want to take it off these exchanges, I don't usually like paper wallets, but there is one that is out there. I linked to it below. zclassicpaperwallet.com. It is linked to below. So there are a lot of questions out there all over social media. You go to Reddit, you go to Twitter, and some of the questions are so basic. People do not even know what a private key is. So there's an opportunity to teach. There's learning opportunities here. There's teaching opportunities here. They're tremendous. There's a tremendous room for growth in this ecosystem, in this niche of the ecosystem. because 80% of the people do not understand what is going on at all when there's a fork. They're going to be, if, and this is not a big if anymore, if Bittrex doesn't split, if they never split the Bprivate from the Z Classic, there are still going to be many people who just leave their Z Classic there because they think they're getting free Bprivate. Even with all this information that is out there, they don't understand. And that is just shows you how early we are in cryptocurrency. And a lot of people out there that are watching this video are saying, well, how can people understand? You're supposed to control your private key. You're not supposed to rely on exchanges. People have jumped into cryptocurrency at various stages in the learning curve. They should have just understood what Bitcoin is, how to send a Bitcoin, actually send a Bitcoin, be familiar with a public address. So many people have skipped those steps and just end up owning some coin at an exchange. And you might be asking, well, how could they even skip these steps? It happens. Trust me, trust me. So there is so much confusion out there. And these Bitcoin is not centralized, okay? The cryptocurrencies are not supposed to be centralized. But the reality is that crypto dividends, they're all centralized, okay? They all have leaderships. They all could have marketing teams if they wanted to. They all could have a customer service team. And this situation shows us that there should have been a customer service team at Bprivate, just answering people's questions. And customer service during a crypto dividend formation, during the fork week, the fork month, that should be the number one priority, is customer service. Teaching the people what this really is, what you're giving them for free, how they can get it, when exactly they can get it, and just having a dedicated team to answer the same questions over and over and over and over again, the same way, providing the same clarity, because not everyone hears it at the same time. So if you want to do a crypto dividend in the future, I say that I think a recipe for success is making a boutique fork where the people who get your fork, get your coin, feel very exclusive. There are not that many that are created. Maybe something that's like BRodium, maybe something that's an airdrop even. Maybe not this traditional forking method, because it relies so much on these exchanges, what we're going to get to in a second. Everything will be clear from the start. What, where, when, how. Constant updates. 24/7 customer service. Maybe, and if you have to register, then you get a special boutique style customer service. I don't know. You can go a lot of different ways with this, but no one has proposed, or that, to the best of my knowledge, there have not been any customer service crypto dividends out there yet that just focus on the customer service. A lot of them, I mean, face it, Bprivate said something about, they could get into legal trouble if they talk about certain things so much. That's not the answer. That's not what the people want to hear. They want service. They want clarity and transparency. And the people at Bprivate can say they provided transparency, but how can they really say that when there is so much confusion out there at this very moment? Go to the Reddits, go to the Twitter. I really haven't seen this type of anger directed at an altcoin, directed at an exchange. It's a different kind. It's a frustration. And a lot of it is justified. A lot of it's panic. Some of it is FUD. But yet, when you look at this situation, is Bittrex going to do it? Is Bittrex not going to do it? Can we say that Bittrex is going to do it? Bittrex is the biggest Z Classic exchange on earth. Okay, how this wasn't one of the number one priorities, getting this straight beforehand and clarifying it with everyone. How that wasn't a number one, number two priority is beyond my understanding. these guys at Bittrex, these guys at Bprivate are going to have a lot of questions they're going to have to answer once they're allowed to answer questions. And thank you, B Ruck, for the $2. He says a Bitcoin Meister fork. Hey, if you want to do that, be my guest. I don't know. Yeah, be my guest. This is, to make a fork legitimate, we are learning. I mean, you really have to have things set up beforehand. You have to have an exchange that's going to split it. You're going to have reputable exchanges that are going to sell it, trade it, whatever. But anyway, let me go back. So yeah, I believe a customer service crypto dividend will win, will be huge. But here, speaking about clarity and transparency, for this Z Classic forking and Bitcoin forking into Bprivate, the snapshot is going to be taken on February 28th. That is Wednesday. Many of you are watching this on Tuesday at 5 p.m. UTC, which is noon on the East Coast of the United States. Okay, that is an important time to remember. You're going to have to control your private key by that time if the exchange you've been storing it at is not going to split it for you, which is most likely not going to happen. They're not going to split it for you. Bittrex, it appears, is not going to do it unless Bittrex, there's so many ifs you can make up here. And that's the unfortunate thing. If they just straight up said, we are not doing this, they are not saying that, actually. Bittrex has not, and so maybe there are some legal things. Maybe they just don't. Maybe they're planning on selling out to a big corporation also, and they just don't want to deal with the drama anymore, and they don't. They're going to get. I mean, if you read, if you measure, if you gauge the tone out there of the people that are dealing with this situation, who own Z Classic, who bought Z Classic for this fork. It appears there's going to be a lawsuit after this. Now, I don't encourage these type of things at all. I don't. But again, you read social media for yourself. There are people very angry at Bittrex. There are people very angry at just for the lack of transparency coming from Bprivate. And again, speaking of Bittrex, they supported Ignis. Ignis, come on. So what does it say about Bprivate? What does it say when the biggest Z Classic machine out there, the biggest Z Classic biggest Z Classic exchange is not going to do this fork? Is not going to. I mean, and it doesn't appear to that they're going to even cater, even sell Bprivate. And again, they give out these nebulous, weird tweets that just add to the confusion. It's not cool to play with your customers like this. And that's what a lot of customers of Bittrex are saying. They're like, we're being toyed with by these people and we're going to quit. And you know what? That's their option. That is, yeah, I don't blame people for wanting to have nothing to do with Bittrex after this. No, I mean, unless, I mean, they can clarify things in the next few hours, and I doubt they're going to be able to do this. I mean, they've been given plenty of opportunity. This has all been on the table for so long, And so I don't know what's going to happen to Bittrex after this. If this is going to be a major blemish that will make a lot of people stop using them. Who knows? We're going to have to see. And that's the right of as individuals. You know what? It is. If you're an individual and you get stuck with Bittrex, it was your fault. Yes, indeed, it was. You trusted Bittrex. You trust no one in this. But in the end of the day, as an individual, you can get back at them by just not dealing with them. That's the way you learn your lesson, and you manage your cryptocurrencies a little bit different. But again, I link to tweets where people are super angry. Here's one. There's a guy named Richie La who works for Bittrex apparently. And he has tweets out that said, the queue is almost 4,000 deep. It will take some time to clear. People trying to get Z Classic off there. So he is saying that it got so busy, people trying to take their Z Classic off of Bittrex, that, and then there's a line, it was delayed. Things slowed down incredibly. He can say that as an employee, but he can't say if they're supporting it or if they're not supporting. He can't directly say what they're doing. He can like link to a link that gives some nebulous statement about other Bitcoin forks, but he can't say what they're going to do. So again, this boils down to customer service on the Bittrex part too. I mean, just, you know, taking your customer for granted is not a good thing. It's not a good thing in a land of competition. So a lot of people are going to say that Bittrex did that. So a lot of people are going to leave Bittrex. A lot of people are going to say that Bprivate did that, and they're going to want nothing to do with Bprivate. They're not going to, no one's, who knows? I'm not going to jump to conclusions here, but again, you guys can see the tone in the ecosystem that surrounds this crypto dividend. It is not a positive one right now. And yeah, the people and the market have spoken. Many are 80%ers, but this is 2018. It is not 2023 yet. Many people store their coins on exchanges, period. It's 2018. It's not 2020. People haven't learned otherwise. And now maybe this is a lesson. So many people want convenient forking devices and don't want to do it themselves, whether it's because they're 80%ers and they don't want to learn, or whether because this is, again, early on in all this. If some other group wants to do something like this, make this as open and as easy as possible. Make the whole crypto dividend claiming thing as open and easy as possible. And have exchanges lined up, at least one that splits it and another one that lists it. And they have to already be legit exchanges already. We're not talking about low level. And again, if you have to pay the exchanges, then you pay the exchanges. Okay? Do a pre-mine. That's why a pre-mine is okay. Okay, people? Because if a pre-mine of a crypto dividend gives you perfect customer service, then it's way worth it. Then you don't end up in a debacle like this. That's so no one knows what's up or down and what you're allowed to legally say, and people are hiding behind legalities. Okay, so pound that like button if you, again, this is not just about, again, this is not just about Bprivate, this is about future crypto dividends. Others are going to have to learn from this. And it shows you it's good that BRhodium took their time. Let them have everything lined up before, you know, they announce what exchanges, before everything's very liquid over there. Let them have everything lined up perfectly. You want to have positive momentum at your launch, okay, of your crypto dividend. You want, just like on election day, you know, when your campaign, I have been involved in political elections, okay? I have seen on the ground how, you know, you can have this huge, long campaign beforehand, but you got to have everything set up perfectly on election day. Election day is a new animal. It's a whole new animal. You could have the best campaign in the world, but if you don't have the logistics of election day set up, you know, busing people places, I know it sounds horrible, you know, paying people to work for you on election day, you're going to lose. So here in crypto dividend land, if you don't have your fork week set up, if you don't have your launch week set up properly, you can have the best fundamentals. It can be it's so great that it's private. It's so great that it's Zcash and Zclassic and that it's a spork. But if you don't have everything lined up and clear on fork week or 48 hours beforehand, what were the 2 months beforehand even worth then? Why even go through everything the 2 months beforehand? Now you're going to debut your coin with such negative momentum that it's going to affect the reputation of the coin forever. Okay, forever. This is not good marketing they're getting now. I mean, so again, that's why a lot of people are like, well, so what? I don't keep my coins in Bittrex. So what Bittrex does? Bittrex is a huge player in all this. Again, I don't make the rules. I'm not an 80%er. I'm not a guy who stores Bitcoin on exchanges, but there are many people who do, okay? And it's just the way the world is set up. If you want to have good momentum, you got to understand what's going on behind the scenes. You got to understand the people you're dealing with who are going to be claiming your coin. You're going to have questions about your coin, okay? They should have made sure, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. They should have made sure everything was set up with Bittrex properly and before, months ago, before they even announced this. And that's the benefit. Again, I said that crypto dividends are centralized. And this is a benefit of centralization, that you can plan everything out. You can be sure of everything. That the second biggest coin on Bittrex, and you can't get Bittrex to hook you up, and Ignis can, then that's the opposite of a positive momentum. There's something going on. What's going on? And yeah, we all understand that individuals can move to Koinami and split it there. Move it to Koinami. Move it to Koinami. But what is it that they end up with? What is it worth when Bittrex makes such a bold negative statement? That's what it boils down to. So individually, you're going to move your Z Classic, but it's going to be devalued because of all of this lack of clarity, which revolves around Bittrex, the Bittrex situation. Now, I don't think there are any more ways I can state this. It's disappointing. It's disappointing that what has happened with the Bittrex. Okay, it's very disappointing. I mean, don't get angry. Just you're gonna have to move on, and you're gonna have to devise a plan. And it's a lesson learned, and there are opportunities here. And it's worth noting that the snapshot date did not have to be February the 28th. It could have been whenever. They could have just made sure Bittrex would accommodate them and then announce the date. And at this point, if Bittrex is not going to accommodate this, okay? I mean, there is still a chance that Bittrex is going to say, oh, haha, if you kept your Z Classic here, we're going to accommodate you, okay? Even though the snapshot date has passed, if you've, for some reason, kept your Z Classic on our exchange, we're going to credit you with the Bprivate. Anyway, at this point, if Bittrex is not going to accommodate people ever, or it appears that they're not, and that the Bprivate people know this, they should delay the snapshot. It's centralized. What would be at this point? What would be the harm of delaying the snapshot? If they could be guaranteed that the Bittrex situation will be totally cleared up, and everyone, and if it's totally cleared up, there are going to be a lot of happy people. Bittrex is going to come out a winner. They're not going to lose their customers. Bprivate is going to come out a winner because everyone is going to be able to easily split their coins over at Bittrex. So at this point, a delay is not the end of the world. I think it would be a delaying of the snapshot would be a good thing for the price. Okay. And yes, I mean, basically my entire video here is about making sure this thing is going to be as valuable as possible in the short term and in the long term. Because when you're building up this reputation, I mean, again, you want the positive momentum. You want the positive momentum so that, it forks easily, then everybody gets their Bprivate. Then it continues to go up in price, just as Z Classic was continuing to go up in price. And in the long term, and there's so much excitement around it, and everybody starts writing about it. So and it builds upon itself. It builds upon itself. The momentum just builds and builds and builds. This is not what's going on now. I mean, this is not what's going on. There are a few people that are trying to say, oh, this is a good thing. We've gotten rid of some people and we don't need Bittrex. There's no momentum anymore. No one's even heard of this Bprivate thing because of, the only reason they might have heard of it now is because of all this drama around it, all this confusion around it. Where was the marketing team? They had, and again, they didn't have to announce. They can delay. It's centralized. They can delay things until the environment is better, until people have heard of it. And so, again, this is not a bullish situation right now. And maybe it will do great, but how well could have it done if this was all cleared and transparent, truly transparent? All right, here's something. Additional note on proposed, this is what this is one of their nebulous statements from the 26th that Bittrex put out. Additional note on proposed Bitcoin forks. When considering adding tokens to Bittrex exchange, we look at the risk involved. Taking a snapshot of the Bittrex exchange Bitcoin wallet is a large disruptive undertaking that requires over 24 hours of preparation. Bitcoin deposits and withdrawals are suspended during this time and should not be taken lightly. Bitcoin forks will only be considered if they have strong industry-wide support, participation, and consensus. So basically, they're implying that on the Bitcoin side of the fork, clearly there is not, that people are not excited about this. Clearly, it is a huge pain in the butt, and that if they were going to support the Bitcoin side of the fork, that is, if you held your Bitcoin on the exchange, which you shouldn't be doing, and they credit you Bprivate, that they would have had to shut down the Bitcoin for 24 hours. They keep using the word Bitcoin. Okay, we get it. I don't think anyone really expected. I mean, it would have been nice that if they would have built up the momentum, the excitement, the Bprivate people would have made it so exciting that everybody would have wanted to own Bitcoin to get this fork. Okay, that wasn't the case. The spork allowed there to be a backup, and that was Z Classic. But this statement by Bittrex says nothing about altcoin forks, which Z Classic into Bprivate is. It doesn't. So it doesn't answer the question: will they do the Z Classic side of the thing? It gives a nebulous answer to Bitcoin, but it gives no answer to Z Classic. So it's not really an answer. I wrote it probably rules out support on the BTC BTCP side of the fork. This additional note does not mention an altcoin fork. And thus one can hope, and I wrote this like a day ago, the Z Classic Bprivate side of the fork is still in play. I mean, again, so it doesn't answer the question. I mean, and we get into this point of transparency versus secrecy for the sake of, covering your butt legally. But these guys, some of these people did eventually start to talk about it. So there was no, it's up in the air if they were, how worried were they about, secrecy in terms of legality? Okay, and I've said this before. If you keep your Bprivate, if Z Classic, if Bittrex ends up distributing no Bprivate, I would love to know what they're going to do with it. Because they're going to end, they have a lot of Z Classic that they control the private key to. So they're going to get this Bprivate. The exchange Bittrex is going to get it. What are they doing with their customers Bprivate? What are they going to do with it? It's a really good question. And yeah, is this the end of Bittrex? This is a legitimate question. How far are the frustrated people that are involved with this Bprivate crypto dividend, how far are they going to take this? Are they going to organize a I mean, it's up to them. As individuals, they can do whatever they want to. And I'm interested in seeing, this is a learning opportunity. This is a new situation. And we're going to see how the people handle it, how the customers handle it. How important customer service really was during a snapshot, during a fork, during a crypto dividend, whatever you want to say. We're going to see what the reaction is. Every action, there is a reaction. This will be interesting. I mean, we're still in the early days of all this stuff. And again, people are asking questions like, well, still, I can see how Bprivate will do better than BGold because, it's a privacy coin. Again, how can you say that at this point when they don't understand? BGold was set up perfectly on Trezor. They allowed people to store their Bitcoin there and easily split it. There is nothing even comparable to that in the Bprivate situation. BGold, people knew about it. Okay, a lot of people knew about it. It was totally associated with Bitcoin. Bprivate is associated with Z Classic at this point. Whether you like it or not, they haven't done a good job of associating with Bitcoin, and they did a good job of getting people excited about Z Classic. But there's no easy way. And again, people are going to say, no, it is easy to split your Bprivate from your Z Classic. No, it isn't, dudes. It isn't. All right. You're part of an elite group of people who could technically do a lot of things. But again, if you read all the comments out there, people don't even know what a private key is. Okay, easy would be, you know, something like a Trezor providing a splitting device. Okay, a splitting device, that is easy, where you just everything is done for you. That is easy. That doesn't exist. That existed with BGold. That existed with Bcash. Nothing even close to that exists with Bprivate. And it could have if Bittrex had done this. And that is why people care so much about this Bittrex situation, okay? Why it is not being overblown in the long-term value of this coin to set off on the, because it opens so many questions about the lead up to this, about the people behind this, about why Bittrex didn't do this. Angry, Anthony Oreshkin sent me $5. Thank you in the super chat. Thank you very much. So there's your answer to why Bprivate. You can't expect a BGold price. Another reason is because Z Classic is the freaking futures market of Bprivate, and right now it's not near a BGold price right now. Now beforehand, when everyone was hoping and thought that, you know what, Bittrex is going to make this easy, God, it was worth so much more. I mean, it got up to 2%. One Z Classic was very close to 2% of the value of Bitcoin. Okay, now it's way less than 1%. I don't even know what it is right now. Okay, but the price dropped considerably based all upon the rumors that Bittrex is not going to make this easy. And I say the rumors because it's still not clear yet. No one's had the guts to freaking make it clear. And again, we have there is a tweet out there from their marketing guy. Where is that? I lost my. Hang on a second. I want to make sure. What's his name? The marketing guy at Bprivate. Hang on a second. I'm doing a little. Sorry for the delay. Let's see in my notes. Crypto Jake. Yes, Crypto Jake said this. He said this. I forgot. This is really important. Crypto Jake is one of the marketing guys, or maybe they're going to say he's not formally. No, he is. He spoke for them in a Detroit event. Now, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is what Crypto did, and I apologize if he's not official team member. But from what I know, Crypto Jake is official team member marketing guy over at Bprivate. He said in a tweet I linked to below, for everyone who keeps asking, we formally applied to Bittrex with a month ago with a stellar application. So there you go. He says something. He uses the word Bittrex. This is in a tweet. So he says they applied to them. So can Bittrex say, well, we rejected the application? Can they say it was rejected or it was accepted? I mean, no. They can say, they can now suddenly say that it exists. And a month ago they applied. So that's great that they did this. I give them credit for doing it. But I mean, but now they announced it 24 hours beforehand. Again, and so, I think a lot of us thought legally they couldn't even say something like that. So if they can say something like that, can't they legally say a little bit more? Where's the line here? Where is the line draw between I'm scared to say anything because I don't want to go to jail, or I'm not saying anything because I'm being very careful, or it's really, I mean, it is a gray area. This is a new realm. Cryptocurrency, crypto dividends, etc. It's a new realm that we're in, and so nothing's defined clearly, I guess, what the punishment is going to be, but I don't know. That is why customer service needs to be really focused on. And just answering people, constantly answering people, I think probably having a customer service 24-hour, 24/7 team is better than, some of these people that were hired, All right. But we live and learn. So here is one thing, a divorce article. This is, we'll end with this. There's an article about, Bitcoin is a safe haven in divorce cases. And I've been saying this for a while. If people want to protect their wealth from possible future divorces, keep it in a, have your own little Bitcoin stash that your partner doesn't know about. And, again, it's 95% of the people who own Bitcoin are men. So this is basically a man's topic. And here's a quote from the article. Although parties have a duty to provide full disclosure of their assets in a divorce, the anonymous nature of cryptocurrencies potentially make them a safe haven for spouses wishing to hide their money from a warring partner. Pound that like button, people. So yeah, you can read that article. It is it's linked to below, and it's interesting that this is making the news now. I've been talking about that divorce in Bitcoin for a while, and how it's insurance against a divorce. It really is. So there's a positive a Bitcoin note to end on. Well, it's positive if you're getting divorced and you have your own stash of Bitcoin. If you're getting divorced and you have no Bitcoin at all, you're losing everything. Okay, I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the notes section below. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out. Just click on those links to learn more about, this entire situation. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. Bye-bye.